of the curve to form monochloramine. And from an industrial point of view, it is more interesting to speak about mass ratio instead of molar ratio. So the ideal molar ratio to form only monochloramine, but not dichloramine or trichloramine, is the value of 4 to 1 expressed in chlorine to nitrogen mass ratio. So you have different, for chlorine it is the same than previously C, gaseous chlorine or sodium hypochlorite. And for the ammonia, you have also gaseous ammonia or liquid aqueous ammonia, which can be used to form monochloramine. There is some characteristic in this slide, but there's no time. And to conclude, there is the schematic treatment when you use groundwater. Groundwater has a generally high quality, so you need just a disinfection, and you have disinfectant just before the storage in the tank, in the reservoir, before the distribution supply. If you have iron or manganese in the water, you need a pre-oxidation to oxidate these two compounds, which will then precipitate and will be returned on the sun filter. And then we have disinfection with chemical like chlorine, for example, before the storage in the tank. So it is very simple installation, generally from groundwater resource. For surface water, it is more complex as we shown just at the beginning of the presentation. You have a storage, sometimes you have a storage with a pre-sedimentation, the clarification, and the use of a disinfectant, chemical oxidant, just between the storage and the reservoir. For the French chlorination practice, we are looking for to optimize the natural organic matter removal by clarification at this step before doing the chlorination to avoid the formation of disinfection byproducts. We never use chlorine in a first step before the natural organic matter treatment, before the removal of natural organic matter, because if you use chlorine at this step, we have a lot of formation, a lot of disease formation. And if we have a long time in the distribution system, we have booster chlorination to ensure concentration, residual concentration of 0.1 mg per liter residual in the distribution system, in the network. Sometimes we have this kind of tank to do the chlorination, but usually it is directly in pipes. And the dose or the CT objectives are generally 0.3 to 0.5 mg per liter during 30 minutes, for example, to be effective against viruses. It is more drastic than the CT required for the bacteria removal. So an example of a city of near Paris, you have two steps of oxidation, anti-oxidation for ozone, mainly to remove natural organic matter and pesticide or other organic micropollutants, and then the final disinfection. I'm sorry. And for US chlorination practice, it is quite different. They have the same chlorination, but often they do pre-chlorination, and they do two chlorination at the output of the plant. Primary chlorination with a quite large dose to ensure the disinfection, and then another one at the output of the reservoir just before the supply in the network to ensure the residual in the network to control the biofilm regrowth. So you can have three steps of chlorination in a plant. And also they use often monochlorine instead of chlorine as the secondary disinfectant, because monochlorine is less reactive with organics compounds and produce less organoline, less disinfection byproducts. As you can see in this slide, it is an example from Australia with a switch from chlorination to monochlorination in the drinking water treatment plant. Here in orange it is the level of TOC, total organic carbon. This is quite high, about 10 to 12 milligrams of carbon per liter. In France, for example, we are limited at the output of the plant to 2 milligrams of carbon per liter. So you have in dark, the point is the production of THN. So you have large production of THN above the regulation limit of Australia, which is 250 micrograms per liter. And when the plant switch from chlorine to monochlorine, you can see the level of THN below the level, and near zero, very low concentration of THN in the water, even if the concentration of TOC is high. Also, monochlorine is efficient in controlling the biofilm. I said before it was less effective than chlorine from planktonic cell, but because monochlorine doesn't react a lot with organic compound, it can penetrate and diffuse into the biofilm and be more efficient with microorganisms in biofilm. So, another example of switching from chlorination to monochlorination, for example, for Escherichia coli. And you see there is a lot of positive sample with Escherichia coli during the period of chlorination. And after the switch, it is the monochlorine. You have no positive sample in this particular example. So it is like this: positive chlorination, primary chlorination, so secondary chlorination, then ammonia. That is to say, here, during the storage in the reservoir, you have the CT, the concentration residual of chlorine, and the time, contact time, to do the disinfection. And then you add chlorine and ammonia to form monochloramine, and you have a residual of monochloramine disinfectant in the distribution system. Sorry, I was very long. Well, thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Florence, for your nice presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, first presenter have given us new perspective on the biofilms occurring in environment. The first speaker already gave presentation about biofilms that occur in our body, in the living organisms, and the second, Dr. Florence gave biofilms occurring in the water treatment. Biofilms we need to remove the biofilms, and one method is by oxidations that already shown by Dr. Florence. Now I open the discussion sessions, and then we still have 25 minutes for the discussion. I think I will divide into 3 sessions and then 3 questions for each session. The first session is I start now for 3 questions. Yes, raise your hand and then mention your name and then your study program. Yeah. First, Ibu, silakan.
My name is Woro from the Faculty of Science and Mathematics. Thank you for your presentation from Dr. Berne and Prof. Imbert. My question is to Prof. Imbert. According to your experience, what kind of methods may I? Michael. According to your experience, what kind of methods that you can suggest if we want to do the screening of natural bioactive substances to get the anti-biofilm activity substance? Actually, from the natural, like from the plants.
Okay. So if you have some extracts, fractions, or what kind of compound to test, I suggest to first do a large screening with a very easy and quite cheap method based on the use of microplates, plastic microplates. So there are lots of different methods using microplates, so polystyrene substrate. Okay, so you can mimic the different steps of the formation of the biofilm. There are two different ways to study the interest of antimicrobial agents. You can search for components able to prevent the formation of the biofilm, or to eradicate a preformed biofilm. So for a prophylactic way to use or therapeutic use. Okay? So if you want the simple method for the curative strategy is to produce some biofilm in microplates. So you put your microbial cells usually for 1 or 2 hours at max. This mimics the adhesion step. Once the adhesion step, you wash, yes, with PBS or other, to remove the non-adherent cells, and you add new culture medium, and you incubate for 1 day, 2 days, as you want, and you obtain 1 day or 2 day old biofilm, and you add your natural components, and you incubate for 1 day or 2 days to see how they are able to kill the biofilm. So to evaluate the quantity of biofilm, residual biofilm, you can do for fungal cells. We use XTT approach, which is based on the reduction of tetrazolium salt by yeast. So we see the metabolic activity, and we have always some controls without treatment to compare treated versus non-treated cells. So this is a colorimetric method. Okay, but you can do you have say few more methods. But once you have done the screening, this large screening, you can do the same with catheters, with but not for the first screening.
Thank you. Can we do the test like we screen for the antibiotic activities against the initiate microbial microbial biofilm formation, like Pseudomonas aeruginosa for biofouling? Can we test the antibiotics to Pseudomonas aeruginosa, and then we can say that this substance has anti-biofilm, something like that?
For Pseudomonas or other kind of bacterial species, I suggest to use Stadiolate instead of XTT. It's better for bacterial cells. And there are also other methods, but usually Stadiolate is quite well.
Okay. Yes. Thank you, Professor.
The second question? Yeah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil mursalin. Thank you very much, Prof. Christina and Dr. Florence for this nice information. And I will introduce myself. My name is Ali. I'm from Sudan and a PhD student in environment science. And before I give the question, I want to say sorry for the accident was happened last week in south of France in Nice. My question for Professor Christine for the health people. Health people, in case taking the antibiotics in wrong way for a long time. How can antibiotics contribute to the occurrence of candida in health people?
So, of course, if you use too much antibiotics and at non-active dose, this promotes the adherence, the resistance acquisition. But candida, you speak about candida, and candida yeast are in our body because they are common cells. They are not real pathogenic species, you know. We have 4 candida cells in our cavity, digestive tractus. So they become pathogenic only in case of immune deficiency, for example. So for it's shown we have pathogenic behavior of candida in fragile patients only. Okay. So I'm not sure that the chronic use of antibiotics may modulate candida. But on the other side, it's certainly the case for bacterial cells, for bacterial species such as Staph aureus, which are not in the same case. I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, the third question for
Thank you for the chance. I'm Utami from Medical Science of PhD program, Berne University. For Prof. Christine, I'm interested in study of biofilm eradication, especially in the clinical fields. We know that there are many strategies for eradicating biofilm, and I'm interested in study of biofilm dispersion agent such as protease enzymes. My question: are protease enzymes effective enough to be a biofilm dispersion agent in your experience? And What about the possibility of protease enzyme to be implicated in therapeutic fields in the future? And the last, maybe, are there a chance or possibility for Indonesian students to learn about biofilm eradication strategies in your department, especially in your study group of biofilm? Thank you, my friends.
I have understood the last part of the question, but you speak about protease.
Protease enzymes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I start with the last part. I have talked about our European study group on biofilms, but it's only a discussing group. You know, we only exchange ideas. We have a meeting per year, and we organize some conferences on biofilms. And the next one will be in 2017 in Amsterdam. But we don't really share research program, experimental program. We do not host students, or students are member too. Yes, they present their own results during the meeting, and so, but it's not a lab. It's not like a lab. About therapeutic strategies. So currently we have some conventional antibiotic agents. We have some conventional antifungal agents, but usually they are poorly active against biofilm. This is the point. The idea now is to find a new component that can be protease, that can be DNAs, that can be other kind of molecules that would be able to destroy the biofilm, to destroy the matrix, in fact, to make the cells enough free to become again susceptible to conventional agents. So I think that future strategies will be based on the combined use of conventional treatment already available with non yet known molecules that will help the conventional molecule to act. Yes?
Thank you. I think we can open now for the fourth question. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. The time for me. I am Indrat Mojo, the student of the PhD Environmental Science. I would like to ask to Madam Florence. Yeah. Okay. You have given me, you have explained about the surface water and groundwater, but maybe in many countries, like in the poverty countries and in developing countries, we found many of the surface and groundwater is polluted by chemical substances because of anthropogeny and industry. Yeah. The example is like in Jakarta. So the colors of the surface water is black, the example, because of many pollutant over there. Yeah. So it is. I would like to ask you about what's kind of the raw material of the water that can be treated to be the drinking water or clean water here. Because we found about many surface water and groundwater is polluted by any kind of the pollutant. Yeah. Thank you.
You mean what kind of treatment you can find here?
Yeah.
You can use here to treat surface water?
Yeah, that it is maybe any kind of the pollutant over there. The example is like the chemical substances, like FA, yeah, and MN, yeah. You said like that, yeah. So how to treat that? It is possible to be the clean water, to be the drink water.
Yes. First, to have a surface water not polluted, you have to treat sewage, for example, to avoid the nitrogen reject, for example, and after the resource can be treated. What I mean is the first step is to treat sewage water, wastewater, before releasing it in the natural resource. And after, when you have a lamp, for example, with algae or iron or manganese or ammonia, it's the classical way to treat water. For example, for ammonia, you can use chemical oxidation by chlorine to eliminate ammonia, but you can use also biological way. For example, during sand filtration, there is a good biofilm in the sand which can do the nitrification and the elimination of ammonia, for example. And for other pollutants, like what do you say about other pollutants? What kind of other pollutant?
What kind of water pollution?
Yeah, from
chemical.
Contaminated from the chemical substances, for example, like FA. FA means
Perum.
Yeah.
Heavy metals is quite different because you cannot use oxidation to remove heavy metal, for example. You can use sometimes precipitation, and you have also absorbent material, for example. We can eliminate heavy metal, and you have membrane filtration, for example. You can eliminate heavy metal. But by oxidation, this is not the good way with the chlorine or the chlorine. It's not efficient to remove heavy metal. I've understood and answer to your question.
Yeah, okay.
Ibu Miss.
Okay, thank you. My name is Lani. I'm studying at doctoral program of Faculty of Medicine. Okay, my question addressed to Mr. Christine. You tell me about main mechanism explaining the reduced activity of antifungal agent associated to Candida albicans biofilms. Yes, in this mechanism, I think there is a component of stress. I don't understand what is the stress role in this mechanism.
So I haven't understood the beginning of your question.
You tell me about the main mechanism explaining the reduced activity of antifungal agent associated to Candida albicans biofilms.
Yes.
And you said that there is a stress in a component of this mechanism. I don't understand what is the role of this stress. Maybe you can give me the example of it. Thank you.
Yes, in fact, I just mentioned the main factors that are matrix, persistence, and efflux pump. But you're totally right. On the picture, there was stress. And in fact,